Hello one and all, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Shadow Gallade, and we have a Tusk game for you. We have Nickinator of the Arkansas Arachnids and Coach Attila of the Fighting Wurples. And here's what we're working with today. We got the Hisuian Braviary, Mega Glalie, Vikavolt, Hisuian Samurott, Breloom, and Skeledirge versus the Yuxi, Magnezone, Lando, Noodle Boy, Tentacruel, and the Guzzlord. So, right off the bat, you may begin. But obviously, the web leads are extremely tempting. However, Nick could use that to his advantage, as it's so obvious he could get into Attila's head trying to counter the counter lead, because obviously you're going to want to stop those webs from going up. As for Attila here, he also has an obvious lead on his hands, Yuxi, but the problem is, his obvious lead loses to Nick's obvious lead in Vikavolt, so he could go Landorus to be another potentially very good lead. He could also try and go Magnezone for the Volt Switch, and honestly, thing to remember, he doesn't have a Steel type, and it is Landorus versus Samurott, so neither of them led their obvious leads. Probably expecting the other to lead their obvious lead. A lot of obvious leads today. First off, great position for Nick, although he does have to make the prediction. Go for the kill on Landorus, or go for Ceaseless Edge to get the spikes up. Because remember, that is a thing Samurott is allowed to do. It's a very good thing he can do. As for Attila, he could actually probably take one move, assuming it's not a physical ice move, considering the Intimidate drop. But is Attila willing to risk that? To risk the Rogue Ice Beam? Well, not the most common choice for Samurott to run special ice coverage. It's not unthinkable in draft format. Another thing to consider is that Attila, well, he does have some nice hazard removal options. It does invite some pretty unsightly things in, such as both the Braviary and the Vikavolt here. Very scary things to provide in for free. Alternatively, Attila could just U-turn out. The boring option. Ay. Regardless, Amid Startup, Knockoff, getting rid of the leftovers, and Superpower, calling the Samurott. Okay, going straight for blood. Attila, not afraid of anything. So Samurott goes down turn 1, not even getting up a layer of spikes, much less a kill. Okay, that is a big development for the duel. As for what's going to happen now, well, obviously, Landorus is pretty much a sitting duck, so he could go into Breloom and explore whatever he wants, but that invites the Tangrowth in for free. He can also go into Mega Glalie, and Mega Glalie is actually very threatening here. He goes right into the Hisuian Braviary instead. Now, as what the Braviary wants to do, not really sure. He doesn't need to get any defogging off. He could take it for Tentacruel. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with what the Braviary does. Let's find out. He just goes right for the Hurricane, which does nothing to Magnezone, although it could knock off any potential Focus Sash shenanigans. Although, realistically, Magnezone's kind of just death fodder in this game, because he has no reason to keep it around without the Steel type, which if I'm checking, Nick's Steel type was Goodra. I don't think Magnezone beat Goodra either way. But regardless, Tangrowth comes in, very predictable choice, as it just hardwalls the Breloom 17 times out of 10. So they kind of in an awkward position because neither of them wants to switch Shout, unless of course Tangrowth has Sludge Bomb, which I'm guessing it does, but if it doesn't, they're kind of just in a stalemate. But I'm guessing Attila knew this going into the fight, and prepared accordingly with the Sludge Bomb. That's what Nick wants to do here. He could try and sub-predicting Attila to overpredict, but honestly, there's no real play here, as he doesn't want to risk the Leech Seed, anything else happening to anything else. Or the knockoff, for that matter. Nick's just overall in a very awkward position right now. Alternatively, he doesn't want to risk the Sludge Bomb from anything, and let's see, Poison Jab, that's the same thing, but skinned differently. Well, Braviary is in, and now I think Nick has to U-turn here, predicting the inevitable Magnezone to come in. Alternatively, Attila could predict that and just Leech Seed. And I want to point out, that did a lot. Like, I know Tangrowth is strong, but is Braviary that frail? I don't actually know. I didn't look up the stats before this fight. And it doesn't say so on the doc either. Like, outside of a specific prep section of the doc. If you want to know what I mean by the prep section of the doc, then you can join the server in the description below. I'm sorry, I had to do it somewhere. And he goes out at the Magnezone as the Shadow Ball comes out. Okay, now the question is the Magnezone scarfed? Let's find out. He Terra Steel and just gets to kill the Magzone anyway. Okay, so I'm guessing either Magzone was scarfed or they're both scarfed. Or Attila was predicting a switch there. Who knows? I could calc, but I'm not going to calc during an analysis game. Maybe during my own games, though. Regardless, the Braviary is Terra Steel, so that is useful information for Attila to know. Not so for later, but more so the fact that he can't Terra later. And the fact that Landorus T can now just click Earthquake freely, since Vikavolt does not want to fight this thing, especially if it's going to carry the likely Stone Edge. It could carry Stone Edge. I'm not going to say likely Stone Edge, actually. The potential Stone Edge. What else does Stone Edge have on this man's team? It also has Gallade. Well, then again, he might not have it since he also had Superpower. And Guzzlord comes in, even without that, especially even without being super effective against the Braviary, he does still deal a chunk with his powerful attacks. And I think Breloom's the safest play here. That's also the obvious play, as Attila could very easily click a Fire Blast right now. And Nick's looking at his team, apparently. What is Nick thinking? Talk to me, Nick. Guzzlord goes hard. Oh my god. In this position, it actually does kind of go hard, as he can either click a free Fire Blast, and if Skeledirge wants to come in to eat that predicted Fire Blast, that just dies. And yeah, Fire Blast comes out, OHKOing the Vikavolt. And yep, that is a special attacking Guzzlord. And now Gallade comes in. Does he think Guzzlord's bulky enough to take the inevitable Double Edge? Let's find out. Or Body Slam, that works too. Double Edge would have killed. And Fire Blast kills the Gallade too. Very useful for Landorus later in the fight. Overall, Nick just did not have a good matchup going into this. Braviary comes back in, and while it could kill the Guzzlord, Guzzlord could also just easily go down here. Doesn't need to anymore. It's weakened down his team. They have ways to beat the Skeledirge. Guzzlord's done his job. It can go down very easily. Like, Nick was overall in between a rock and a hard place from the moment the fight started, honestly. I will say, it was nice of them not to lead their overly predictable lead, since Yuxi and Vikavolt do tend to get pigeonholed into the lead position without much effort. And Terra Blast, okay, so that I'm still holding out the possibility of Choice Scarf Braviary. I might personally go with the Tentacle here just to test that, though I get Attila not wanting to do that, as it is a bit of a risk, since if he's not, he's kind of just handing Nick Tentacruel in the silver platter. And while Tentacruel isn't exactly essential for the game plan going forward, he doesn't want to just throw away Mons. He could just go in the Landorus regardless and take the probably Terra Blast. I think he takes it. He's going to Tentacruel. He's calling his bluff. He's calling the Choice Scarf. The question is, was he right? Inconclusive. But Hydro Pump does a chunk. He can just go for another one. Yeah, well, this is like a very poor matchup for Attila from the word go. Very hard team to prep for, I will say. With very powerful threats like Clefable, Yuxi, Infernape, Blastoise. Very scary things. Very bulky as well. And he's probably for the Choice Scarf, I'm going to assume he switches out for the... I want to say that's Loaded Dice Breloom, but I can't exactly prove it. I can just say what I'm thinking. And yeah, it just goes with the Bullet Seed again. Does this... Okay, it's not hard confirming the Loaded Dice, but it's going to stop confirming that Loaded Dice. And Earthquake ruins the UA for me, the thing for me, thank you. And just the immediate Torch Song, they both knew was going to happen. But at this point, Landorus just comes in and wins, unless that's Scarf Dirge. No, it is Shuka, okay. Well, Tentacruel still wins, unless that is a miraculous Scarfed Braviary, which it's still up in the air, which I am calling. Skeledirge is terrifying, but Yuxi's gonna come in. Very interesting. Light Screen... And Nick slugs off getting some more health back. And Future Sight setting up for the endgame Tentacruel sweep, but Nick doesn't care. He's just going all in on the Torch Song play. He's just firing off blast after blast. And Terra Electric Yuxi for the Terra Blast. Not sure what that does. You probably just allow some coverage on Yuxi, I don't know. But regardless, excellent timing on Attila's part, whether or not it was intentional. At this point, Nick's just trying to stall out the light screen, probably. I'm guessing he just Torch Songs again. No, he slacks off, trying to just stall this out as much as he can. That is a light play, Yuxi. Very interesting. Very interesting. But not entirely unexpected. Yeah, I think Nick has to just keep clicking the torch button. Because if that is Scarf Braviary and the light speed ends soon, he just beats Tentacruel with a Scarf Psychic move. I'm guessing Esper Wing, but I'm not sure. I have no idea. Now, they're both debating the moves, or at least one of them is. I'm guessing Attila having to predict, does he go into Tentacruel now? Does he not? Because admittedly, they're both in... Because Attila went from being in a very commanding position to not a very good one. He's going to go hard in the Tentacruel here. The question is, does it pay off? He might be able to take one. I'm guessing it was a damage roll in that Shadow Ball. But the question is, will Hydro Pump kill? I don't think Attila has a choice. I think he has to go for it. And the miss! Yeah, that miss sucked, dude. Oh, that is the worst. Regardless, Nick won the game through Wellblade skill. Miss into a roll that kills. Yeah, very unlucky boy hours. Although, hey, Yuxi's gonna live one more turn. And yeah, Nick wins off the back of Skeledirge carrying excellent prep in the form of Shukaberry, but overall, big oof. I don't know if Hydro Pump would have killed there. I'm guessing it wouldn't have. This being a bulky Skeledirge, most likely. So I'm guessing he could have lived one. Although at that point it would have sucked because then Yuxi would have been able to kill with Terra Blast, most likely. Aye. But yeah, that has been a great Tusk battle. See you guys next time.